Why do so many rich men often marry girls of normal backgrounds instead of famous models and celebrities? What kind of woman do you have to be in order to marry into real wealth? Let's dive into the normal women who married into wealth and what lessons we can learn from them. Our first pick is Mette Marit. Mette Marit is now the Crown Princess of Norway, married to Crown Prince Haakon. But she was only a commoner when she met him. She was born into a lower class Norwegian family, with her dad being unemployed for quite some time during her childhood before he finally landed a job as a journalist for a local newspaper. And her mom was a bank teller. She met Prince Haakon while attending a rock concert in Norway. Now, their relationship caused lots of controversy in the media because Mette was actually the single mom of a 2-year-old boy and was working as a waitress when she met Haakon. So the public was very critical of the possibility of her becoming crown princess because they felt that as a single mom and former waitress, she didn't represent what a role model of a future queen should be. Things only got worse when it was released that the father of her child was actually a convicted felon for drug charges. More scandals about her past continue to be released in the press, like her alleged use of recreational drugs during her youth and the fact that her dad remarried a stripper after divorcing her mom. So you can see almost every single obstacle that you can think of was thrown Mette's and Haakon's way. But despite the gossip and negative opinions, Haakon did not care. In fact, he continuously stood up for her in the press. They were married 6 months after meeting when she was 27 and he was 26. He did not care about her past, about her family situation, or the fact that she was a single mother. So this really goes to show you the argument that those alpha male and red pillar podcasters try to make of single moms and women with scandalous pasts not deserving high value men is complete nonsense. Her story really proves that high value men do not care about your past. They only care about who you are in the present. And despite her past, she still carried herself with grace and elegance. She owned up to her previous mistakes and asked for forgiveness from the public. And despite everything she went through, she remained a devoted wife, mom, and crown princess. Number 2 on this list is Angela Brown, who is married to Prince Maximillian of Liechtenstein. She was born in Panama to a middle-class family. Her dad was a business owner and her mom was a stay-at-home wife. They immigrated to the United States when Angela was just 5 years old. She went to school for fashion and worked as a stylist for a few years before actually creating her own fashion label. She met Prince Maximilian of Liechtenstein, who has a net worth of $7.2 billion at a private party in New York. 3 years after they met, they were already engaged. Now, similar to Mette Marit, there was some backlash due to the fact that they were an interracial couple, and Angela was actually 11 years older than Prince Maximilian. However, the prince always continued to defend her. She broke down the huge barrier of actually becoming the first woman of African descent to marry into European royalty. Now, this is a lesson that all of us women can learn. You don't have to look a certain way to marry into wealth, which is a common misconception that many of us have. It's all about how you carry yourself. We can see that Angela is a very elegant and sophisticated woman, and at the end of the day, that's really what wealthy men are attracted to. Yes, of course, you do have to put in effort to look your best, but your features are not the end-all be-all determinant of who you can and can't marry. Also, her being 11 years older debunks the myth that these alpha male podcasters are trying to put into your head that older women are not the prize and established men only want to date the youngest and hottest women in the dating market. It's really such a stupid ideology that these losers are trying to spread because age has nothing to do with your value as a woman. Think about it. These rich men have access to almost any woman in the world. They could date the most beautiful, the youngest, or the most famous women, but they don't. They choose to go for normal, elegant women because at the end of the day, it's all about how you carry yourself. All these women on this list who married into wealth are feminine, sophisticated, and elegant women. And that is really what drew these affluent men towards them because these qualities are so rare nowadays. If you'd like to learn more about how to attract and date affluent men, please check out my ebook, which is linked in the description. Number 3 on our list is Amal Clooney, who is married to A-list actor George Clooney. Amal was actually born in Lebanon, but she moved to England with her family when she was just 2 years old in order to escape the civil war in her home country. She grew up in a middle-class family with her dad being a professor and her mom being a journalist. Amal was always very passionate about her education and career. She earned her bachelor's degree from Oxford and her law degree from NYU. She has an extremely successful career specializing in international law, human rights, and criminal law for many high-profile people. She first met George Clooney at a dinner party when he spotted her and struck up a conversation with her. They were married 1 year later when she was 36 and he was 53. Now, one thing I'd really like to touch on about the two of them is that George was very impressed with Amal's career. He admired her passion for human rights and activism, and he even said that that was something that played a huge role in their connection. This is another idea that is completely debunked. The myth that men do not like career-oriented women. This sentiment has been posted all over social media that men do not want what they call boss babes. This is completely untrue. For a low-value man who is very insecure and wants to tear you down, it is true for him because he cannot handle the fact that his woman is more successful than him. But for high-value men, this is something that they love. They want a woman with passions and interests. George and Amal are proof of that. The fact that he even said their passion for activism is what made them so close in the first place. Don't let these podcast losers try to shrink you down. If you have a passion and ambition for your career, then follow it. And also, by growing in your career and education, you are opening all sorts of doors to networking and meeting so many different people. So don't shy away from this because loser men are telling you to. The next woman on our list is Nikita Khan. Nikita is married to Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, who has a net worth of over $130 billion. She was actually born in Ukraine, and she went on to get a bachelor's degree in hospitality and later a master's degree in economics in Ukraine. After finishing her studies, she moved to the United States. It's not officially known how the pair met, but they have been together for over 10 years. She is known to be an extremely private and classy woman, and this is really what I want to point out about this couple. Larry Ellison is one of the richest men in the world, but the woman that he chose keeps herself very under the radar. This is something that I think a lot of us can learn from. Rich men are not attracted to the current trends set by social media of women dressing in a vulgar style and trying to embody that Instagram model look. If you're partaking in these trends, then you will only attract men who lust over Instagram models because you resemble one, and that is what they find attractive. If you want to be serious in attracting an affluent, high-value man, you have to dress in a feminine and elegant way. Otherwise, you will give off the impression that you are just one of those girls he can use to have fun. If you look at Nikita, she has a very plain Jane look to her. Of course, she's still a beautiful woman, but she definitely doesn't look like an overdone Instagram model with lip fillers and extremely long eyelashes. So it's really best to follow timeless fashion and emphasize your natural beauty rather than trying to embody the current trends. The last woman on our list is Queen Rania Al Abdullah, who is married to King Abdullah II. She was born to Palestinian parents, but she was actually raised in Kuwait. She was 22 and working in marketing for Citibank when she met the King of Jordan at a dinner party. What I want to point out about their story is that she has stated that when she saw King Abdul, she wanted to approach him first, but she didn't want to go against protocol, so she had no choice but to wait and see if he would approach her. Sure enough, he did, and he invited her to get falafel sandwiches. A year later, they were married. A lot of times, us women can be impatient when it comes to love. We want it right now, so we do things like approaching men before giving them the opportunity to make that first move. In Queen Rania's case, she just trusted and knew that there was that physical attraction between the two of them, and she waited for Prince Abdul to take the lead and approach her first. This is something that I really recommend for all women to practice because feminine women never approach men first in an aggressive and direct manner. We sit back and let men come to us. That is going to be all for today's video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you've liked this video, check out part 1 in this series of normal girls who married into real wealth.